Hi there, I'm Akash and you're watching Tic Tac Tech, and this is our quick comparison of the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4G and the Motorola Moto G second generation. Now both these phones here come under the mid-range price segment, which is currently the most exciting price segment in India. Most of the manufacturers are competing heavily to release the best phones in this price bracket, which is 8 to 15,000, and there's a lot of competition here. It's a very hot segment. So I'm going to compare these two phones because they're one of the best phones you can buy in this price segment, the Moto G and the Redmi Note 4 from Xiaomi. So let's start by design. Now I think that the Moto G has excellent design. It's got a very exquisite feel when you hold it, because there's a nice curved body which is like the curved human hand, so it fits very well in your hand and it's very nice to hold. Also, I like the nice matte finish in the back. Apart from being very high quality and giving it a premium feel, the matte finish also makes it very easy to grip. The fold feels very sturdy in your hand. Apart from this, I also like how they've managed to fit in a nice big 5-inch display into such a nice snug form factor. So it's not too big for your hands. Plus, their almost no bezel design has made sure, again very minimal bezel, not no bezel, design has made sure that you get a lot of real estate, and the design is very good. It's accommodated the display very well. Overall, I think it's an extremely well designed phone, and it's very good for rupees 30,000. It's a very premium phone at this price offering. And then we move to the Xiaomi Redmi Note, which is also very good. Now this phone right here is better than what we've seen in previous Xiaomi phones. I've seen the Mi 3 and the Redmi Note 1S. Now those phones were not so well designed, they didn't have such great build quality. But the Redmi Note 4G is a huge improvement on them, and it's a very nice phone. So it's not as good as the Motorola Moto G, I would say, because but it's pretty good. It's got a nice plastic finish here. It's glossy. It's got grippy. It's also grippy at the same time. It's not matte, but I like the combination of glossy and grippy. So it's something that won't slip out of your hand very easily. But it's larger display. It's got a 5.5-inch display. This makes it a little bulky to hold. Even for people like me, I've got a huge hand right here, and I still find it kind of hard to hold because of the size of the display. Then again, if you want this size of display, it's a great phone. So it feels very hefty. It's got good solid build quality. The phone is constructed very well. It uses good materials. It's very good for this price bracket, which is rupees 9,000 that this phone costs. But it isn't as good as the Moto G. I would say the Moto G is maybe 10 or 20% better because of that exquisite matte finish and that nice curved design. But overall, the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4 should not be taken lightly. It's a very solid smartphone. It has good design, and it's a huge improvement from Xiaomi, who've been making not so great designs for previous phones that came out in India, like the Mi 3 and the Redmi Note 1S. So next we can go to next part, which is specs and performance. Now the Redmi Note 4G uses a Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 chip, which has a 1.6 GHz quad-core CPU. The Motorola Moto G also uses a similar chip, Snapdragon 400, but it's got a 1.2 GHz CPU instead. The Redmi Note has 2 GB of RAM, the Moto G has 1 GB of RAM. So which is the better performer? How do they perform? Well, from what I've seen, Xiaomi here uses Android. They're giving you Android 4.4.2, and on top of Android is something called as MIUI, which is their homemade skin. Now I've not really been a big fan of MIUI, but you should know that it looks pretty good. If you like how Apple treats its iOS operating system, then you will like this as well, because just like Apple's iOS on the iPhone, this here has no app drawers. All the icons are rounded off, and it's all very nice and elegant. There are lots of nice wallpapers to choose from. You can get your own wallpapers. There's a nice theme store. It looks very pretty. But the fact remains that this MIUI skin does tend to affect performance a little bit. So here and there I've seen a bit of sluggishness, and when I open and transition through apps, sometimes I saw a bit of sluggishness. Again, this is just 1/10 the time. Maybe 1 in 10 times using this phone I saw a bit of sluggishness and a bit of problems, but that's not something I'd like, because when you take the Motorola Moto G, it's got stock Android. There's no skin on top. It's all lean and light and very light OS, light UI. So it's very quick and fast because of the stock Android. There's no problems. I'm able to go navigate very easily. Everything opens up well. And with repeated use over many months, the phone still manages to be very quick and fast. Even if you burden it with lots of apps, it'll still do fine because of the stock Android. So what I like is that it's all clean, neat, it's not heavy, and you basically have an interface that is not troublesome, you know. It's just pure Android, the way Google intended it to be, and that's really a very nice, good thing, according to me. So I like my phones very nice and clean and quick and fast. So Google does that. So I'm not saying that the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4G's MIUI is bad anyway, but it's a little heavy, so it does tend to offer small lags in performance every now and then. It won't be a very big thing, but you know, you'll have certain problems here and there. It'll be very minor. Next, we can go into the other aspect of performance, which can be tested by checking out video games. So I tested out this game called Skyforce on both these games, on both these phones. It's a remake of a very popular shooter that we might have played when we were younger. And why I chose this game for testing these phones out is because this game packs a lot of elements, like multiple elements and multiple enemies, at least a dozen coming at you at each time. So it's a lot of data for the phone to process. So I wanted to see how this phone will perform in this game. And I did just that. And it came to me and I realized that both phones are good, but I saw a bit of difference between them. I think the Moto G performs slightly better. It reproduces colors in a slightly better fashion. In the game's environments, textures, they're all reproduced slightly better by the Moto G. But in terms of performance and gameplay, both of them offered a similar performance. The difference is not very great, but it's a big deal considering that the Moto G has specs that are not as good as the Xiaomi Redmi Note. So in this gaming test, after doing a couple of other games as well, I can confidently say that the Moto G is about 10, 15, 20% better than the Xiaomi Redmi Note. But again, the difference is very minute. It will take a lot of effort for you to actually notice. Not too much, a little bit of effort for you to notice. So that's what you should keep in mind. So both these phones are very good performance. The price range, they do a very good job. In fact, they even have the potential to best a lot of more expensive phones. But the fact remains that the Moto G is slightly ahead of its game over here in this round, and it's the slightly better performer thanks to stock Android and a lot of optimization by Motorola. But you should know that the Xiaomi Redmi Note is also a great phone, and it's not lesser in any way. So that's done. Let's move to the next part. Now let's talk about imaging. How do these phones perform as smartphone cameras? So we went around and we got a lot of images and a lot of videos, and we found this little dog here on our street. They call him Foo for some reason, and we decided to take pictures and videos of this dog, and the results again are in the favor of the Moto G. Now if you look at this right here, this is a picture of the dog. I hope you can see clearly. So as you can see here, the dog looks orange or orangish brownish. That's the kind of shade it's got, a darker, more orangey shade of brown, which is what the dog actually looks like in real life. But when you see the same thing on the Xiaomi Redmi Note, it looks more yellow or more golden. I'm not sure if So as you can see, it looks more yellow or more golden, which is not true. So this means that not only in this picture but multiple other pictures that I shot, the color reproduction was slightly off. So I noticed that the Moto G did a maybe 10, 20, 30% better job in reproducing colors slightly better. Even when it comes to things like detail, as you can see, the Moto G did a slightly better job in producing better detail in pictures. That right there is the Xiaomi Redmi Note. Look at the Moto G here. You can notice that there's more texture on this image when compared to this image. I don't know if you can notice it, but I can with my naked eye. So the Redmi Note gives texture in certain places quite well, but it's flat in others if you notice. but with the Moto G there is texture everywhere, which basically means that this phone has done a better job in capturing all those minute details. Now for users like us this doesn't matter on a day-to-day basis, but purely for the sake of seeing which is the better imaging system, I would like to say that after taking multiple pictures of multiple subjects in a variety of lighting conditions, I would say that the Motorola Moto G is slightly ahead. Again, the difference isn't very great, but it's good enough and big enough for me to say that the Moto G is the slightly better candidate for taking pictures. We also shot a video of this dog right here, and even there I noticed that the Moto G did a much better job at shooting videos. So we shot a video of this very excited dog here, Fufu, and that's what it looked like on the Moto G. As you can see, the colors are better, the image is more dynamic, it's not flat, and yeah, the Moto G basically did a very good job in shooting video. Whereas over here, I found that the video quality was more pixelated if you look very carefully, and the colors didn't come out as well, and the image looked very flat. Whereas over here, it looked very nice and dynamic, as you can see. Not sure if my camera is doing justice to the point that I'm trying to illustrate here, but I think you might get the picture. And yes, this right here happened as well. The camera on the Xiaomi Redmi Note washed out and blacked out a few times during my video. I wasn't sure why that happened because I was shooting both these phones simultaneously, and the Redmi Note washed out and blacked out a few times. So I wasn't happy with that either. Overall, I don't think the people at Xiaomi are going to like me very much after this phone review and comparison. But I'm here to tell you the truth as it is, and you can see so that it looks significantly better on this phone here, on the Moto G. So I think that gave you a good idea of what I'm talking about in terms of taking pictures, in terms of taking video. I found the Moto G second generation to be much more impressive and practical, because it did not struggle to get these pictures for me, it did not struggle to shoot video. It did everything very flawlessly, and the results were quite better. So what you should know is that the Moto G has only an 8 megapixel rear sensor, whereas the Redmi Note has a 13 megapixel sensor. But I don't think that really matters, because in the results we saw that the Moto G is the better camera. And for the front pictures, I noticed that the Xiaomi Redmi Note shot slightly better pictures for selfies. Again, the difference was maybe 10-20%. I'll show you some of those selfies. The Xiaomi Redmi Note has a better front camera. It's got a 5 megapixel front camera, so it's no surprise there that it takes better pictures in the front. But the results in the back cameras are shocking to me, because I expected the Moto G to lose their competition, but it actually won. So there you are. That is a selfie, as you can see there, and I found slightly more detail with the pictures that were taken in the Xiaomi Redmi Note. But one thing I did notice was it tends to wash out some of the details on my face, whereas on the Moto G it captures my face as it is, as you can see there. All those little marks, everything is right there. While the Xiaomi Redmi Note looks better, the Moto G takes more accurate pictures. So that is the difference between these two front cameras, as you can see there. So that was what imaging. So for pictures and video, I would recommend the Moto G. It is slightly better than the Xiaomi Redmi Note and more stable, because I encountered a few issues when I was shooting video with the Xiaomi Redmi Note. And what I got right now is a fairly new piece. It's got no load on it, no unwanted apps, so it shouldn't have a reason to perform badly. Now our last subject of comparison here would be the batteries of these two phones. And for that I noticed that the Xiaomi Redmi Note is the clear winner here, and there's no surprises there. So the Moto G packs a 2070 mAh battery, which is quite small, and it managed to deliver a day of full use. That's it, you won't get more than that, and you'd be hard pressed to find more better results than that. You get a day of full usage, and this is for average to even power users. You can get a full day of usage. But with the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4G and its big 3000 milliamp hour battery, I was able to get 1.5 days of usage on moderate usage. When I needed heavy usage, I got just a day, but for moderate usage, that is, maybe an hour of WhatsApping, 30-20 minutes of calls, and some Facebooking and some playing some video games, I got a little bit over than a day, and in some cases 1.5 days of battery. So that's what the Xiaomi Redmi Note can do. It's got a very good battery backup thanks to its massive battery size and some little tweaks and turns with the MIUI skin. So Xiaomi's done a better job in that department. So that's what you have right now. That's So which phone should you get, the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4G or the Motorola Moto G? For me, the Motorola Moto G clicks better pictures, it's got a great design, the design is much better, feels more premium, it performs better thanks to stock Android, and I really like stock Android a lot. Personally, that's my bias, because I like how stock Android is clean and more fluidic and faster. It basically is more lightweight, it's a more lean and mean take on Android. That's how Google wanted Android to be. The Xiaomi Redmi Note, on the other hand, is very good. It also offers a smooth performance at 9 out of 10 times, but now and then there's this small bit of lagging because of the MIUI. Apart from that, it's a great phone. They're offering you a lot of value for this price point. The display looks nice and big and bright, and it performs well in most aspects, and I'm sure it'll serve you as well. And if you want a phone with a 5.5-inch display, a big display, this is the one to get. But if you want a smaller display, you should get the Moto G. So the benefits with the Redmi Note 4G are very simple. It's got a bigger battery which lasts longer, it's got a bigger display, there's a bigger form factor to deal with, and it's got the more colorful MIUI skin from Xiaomi, which looks a lot like the iPhone. But if you want a more sober experience and you aren't too interested in colors and you're more on performance and everything being smooth, you should consider the Motorola Moto G. So that is my opinion here. This is what we have to say about the comparison between these two phones. It's up to you now to choose which one you should get. Another phone that's worth considering in this price category is the Eureka, which is also an extremely good smartphone to choose from. You can get it for the same price of rupees 9,000, and it is very good. You can get it on Amazon. We'll be doing a comparison with that phone and these phones very shortly. Stay tuned for that. If you did like our video, give us a thumbs up in the video in the space below under this video. It will help us a lot, and do subscribe to our videos by hitting the red button under this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.